welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a peach and blackberry fruit pizza that's absolutely perfect for summertime. It basically is a sugar cookie baked in a pizza pan, so it has that shape, and then it's topped with some fresh cream cheese frosting and blackberries and peaches. And my favorite part of this recipe is that it's totally customizable. If you don't have those kinds of fruits on hand, you could substitute in strawberries or raspberries, blueberries, whatever you have, and you can easily arrange it in whatever pattern you like. Do some searching on Pinterest or Google to see what strikes your fancy and make it look perfectly unique to you. The full ingredients and instructions for this recipe will be linked in the description box below, and I also have an entire blog post that has all of this information in detail, including some tips and tools that I recommend picking up for this recipe, so make sure to check that out in the description box below. But without further ado, let me show you how to make this peach and blackberry fruit pizza. We're going to start by combining the unsalted butter and granulated sugar to make our sugar cookie crust. And I'm going to be mixing this in a bowl with a handheld mixer, but you can also use a stand mixer with a paddle attachment if you have one. So we're going to be mixing this until the butter gets light and fluffy, and you want it to be pretty light in color, almost white. And this way we're getting lots of air incorporated into it, and it's going to make a nice and light cookie crust in the end. Also, please note my cat in the top left-hand corner. He was very curious and interested in what I was doing here, so he's just our little audience member for the day. So I'm going to keep mixing this until I get that light color and it's nice and fluffy. And it will take several minutes, like I said, so you're getting a nice little arm workout in the meantime. So this is looking pretty good. It's nice and light in color. You could even go a little bit longer, but I think I'm going to stop here. So scrape the bowl well to make sure everything is well combined, and then we're going to add in some vanilla extract, 1 large egg, and then continue to beat kind of on low speed until combined. Once again, you're going to want to use your spatula to scrape down the bowl just to make sure it's well combined, especially after adding in that egg. Do one last mix until it's perfectly mixed, and then we're going to deal with the dry ingredients. So in a bowl, I'm going to whisk together the all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I'm just using a fork to do this, and make sure that's all evenly combined before adding all your dry ingredients into the rest of the mixture. Now at this point, you don't want to overmix the sugar cookie, so you're going to want to just use your spatula or your mixer until it's just basically combined, until the streaks of flour are completely gone. And this looks great to me here. And then we're going to want to chill the dough for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for that time. This just helps it kind of firm up a little bit, and it'll make it easier to roll out when we're ready to make the actual pizza crust. Okay, so after it's been in the fridge for 30 minutes, I'm going to gently spray a pizza pan with some non-stick cooking spray. I'm using Pam. And you also want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So when you're rolling out the sugar cookie crust, you do want to use quite a bit of flour because it's hot here for me. That's why I had some issues, but it also just helps it not stick. And I started off using a rolling pin to do this, but I actually found that it was a lot easier to kind of just gently press the cookie crust into the pan itself. As you can see, it kind of just molds into the shape, and I thought this was a lot easier to do. And it's okay if it's a bit bumpy or ridged on top, because it's totally going to be covered with the frosting and the fruit. So it's not super important that it's evenly flat over the top of the cookie crust. So once you finish doing that, it'll look something like this, and it is going to rise a little bit in the oven. So I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes, and then start on the cream cheese frosting. So to make this, I am going to whip together some cream cheese and unsalted butter, both of which are softened so that they're easy to mix. And we're just going to do this until they're well combined. And yeah, you want to incorporate some more air into those as well. After that, I'm going to add in some vanilla extract, some salt, a little bit of milk, and then powdered sugar. At this point, make sure to mix on low speed because powdered sugar will go everywhere. And it's just going to make this delicious cream cheese frosting, and I'm going to use my spatula just to incorporate everything well. And then in the meantime, I'm going to put the cream cheese frosting in the fridge. This just helps it firm up a little bit before we want to spread it onto the pizza. try not to eat too many bites of this in the meantime. I know I was kind of taking a couple little licks off the spatula, but don't mind me over here. Okay, so while the pizza crust is cooling off from the oven, I'm going to cut up the fruit. So I'm using white peaches here, but you can also use yellow ones. It's whatever your preference is. And I'm just slicing them into very thin slices. You could do these thicker as well. Like I said, this is where the customization in the recipe comes in. You can decorate it however you please, so do whatever calls your fancy and whatever feels best to you. So I'm just slicing up lots of peaches. This took a little while, I gotta admit. And then I'm going to take the blackberries and just halve them. I found that I used about 4 peaches to decorate the pizza and then also 1 cup of blackberries, but you can use more or less depending on how much fruit you put on top. Once that's all done, I'm going to take the cooled cookie crust, make sure it's not hot at all or the frosting will melt, and I'm going to use an offset spatula to spread it evenly over the top. And I want to pull the frosting pretty much almost to the edge, leaving maybe like a ½ an inch where you can still see the sugar cookie peeking through. But just I want it to be evenly covered and to make sure no areas have more frosting than others. You could also do this like on a turntable that you use to make cakes if you want it to be better, but this worked just fine for me. And then comes the fun part, which is the decorating. So I decided to kind of do my peaches in this circular pattern, just kind of like fanning them in to make this. And you want to go all the way around. You can copy what I did or make something different on your own. It's totally up to you. And then I had this little border on the edge where I decided to fill with blackberries, and I made them kind of like crisscross, just, you know, making a little design here. I don't know what to call this. But I just filled it up with all the blackberries, and I thought it looked kind of cute, so I went with it. And I wanted to keep kind of doing like a layer of blackberries, a layer of peaches, and so forth. So I did just some circular pattern with blackberries here to fill up this gap. And then I took some more peaches. They're pretty wide for this base, so I didn't do too many, but I kind of did another circle with just the peaches spanning in the opposite direction, just to kind of make some visual interest. I thought it looked better than if they were all going the same way. And then I decided that I wanted one last little touch, and so I figured it might look cute if I put a blackberry right in the middle. And this is the final fruit pizza. I am obsessed with how it turned out, and it's super delicious. I basically scarfed down 2 pieces myself, so you're going to really enjoy it. And that's it. I know this recipe has several steps involved, but it really doesn't take that long to make, and this fruit pizza is sure to please a crowd or your family at home during the summertime. If you did enjoy this video, it really helps support the channel if you hit the like button down below. It just helps other people find my content so we can grow our community here on YouTube. And if you like this video, I share new ones every week, whether they're recipes like this, or if they're baking tips, or anything under the sun. So if you want to stay tuned for more, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you can stay tuned for future videos from me. I also share a lot of behind the scenes content and kind of a peek into my life and what I do outside the kitchen over on my Instagram, which is just the Baker's Almanac, so make sure to give me a follow there as well. Also, let me know in the comments below if you have any recipe suggestions or ideas for videos you want to see from me in the future. I would love to hear from you. But I think with that being said, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, happy baking everyone! Bye guys!